Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock. This is the Youth Pod Season 2, Episode 1. New season, new division, new blood. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. Very good hello from me. Joining us to discuss all things LUFC Academy is the man himself, LUFC Academy Central, and sports journalism graduate, Matty Ingham.
Thank you very much. Long time no see, lads.
Yeah, a very long time. A very long summer, it seemed. And the youth, what was it? The nicknameless Juicy Rob.
Good afternoon. How is everyone?
I'm pretty good, thanks. I was knee deep in preparation for this, and then I found out Sean Locke died, and then I've just been on a rabbit hole of Sean Locke.
Yeah, it's extremely sad, man. Extremely sad day.
Really sad.
What a legend. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the LUFC Academy, and specifically the under-23s. And I thought I'd start off with asking you guys about new blood. Sean McKirk, very difficult name for me to say. Lewis Bate and Amari Miller. Mai, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can't say I knew too much about them before they joined. I knew Miller had a few senior minutes. I'd heard McGurk's name sort of banded around when we signed Gelhardt, because I think he was linked around the same time. Obviously, we had to wait a little bit longer to sign him. But yeah, I knew a little bit more about McGurk, I think. But yeah, Lewis Bate, another one that I sort of just heard his name, obviously being in the England Youth Franks and Chelsea's academy is amazing. So, you know, heard his name, but not really know much about him. But yeah, as soon as he started getting linked, you know, watching videos of him, looks like a really, really good player and looks to have settled in really well. They all do. I mean, Miller and Somerville on either side is frightening, I think. I thought Bate might come into sort of not replace Jenkins, but I didn't think Jenkins would get as much time on the pitch with Bate being involved. But those two seem to play really well together against Palace. And then McGurk as well, real eye for goal, a forward player who can play off either wing or in the number 10 as well. You know, real eye for goal, a good finisher. Obviously, you've seen that with his goal against Palace, scored against Man City in pre-season as well. So yeah, three really, really good additions to go with obviously the great business we did last summer as well. And the boys look ready and they look well up for it and capable of competing in that top division already.
Rob?
Yeah, I would agree pretty much in summary with everything Matty just said. I like the look of McGurk, and again, I kind of came onto my radar when Gelhardt joined because of that whole connection, and that was a possibility that signing was nearly made last year, I believe. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but it was nearly made last year, and it's manifested this year as obviously Orta continues to bring in young blood. The Lewis Bate one caught me off guard. I just, that came out of nowhere, and again, I hadn't heard much of him, but I think naturally with Chelsea combing the countries far and wide for youth talent, bringing it in, trying to develop it and then sell it on, you know, he's got a bit of star quality about him, and like any good youth player, he's got a cracking YouTube highlights package. So you know that he means business when someone's taking the time to make YouTube highlights packages about a player that's not had any first team minutes. So yeah, I kind of agree with Matty. I think all three players that came in were as big a name signings as you're going to get for that level of youth. But all three have strengthened the squad. I don't think there's been one that's brought in where you think, is it a direct like-for-like replacement? I actually think all three have enhanced the squad and made it stronger. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the game in a minute, but I think it was good to see them get some minutes from the get-go against Palace, which was a good fixture for us to start with at this level, because we've come up, as everybody knows, and we played them last season. So like for like in terms of we know what they're about, we know their setup, we've done their research on them, and some of these lads, you know, played them last year. But yeah, it was good, good additions to the squad.
Okay, and outgoings then. Ollie Casey has gone to Blackpool. I think it was a long time ago now, it seems like. And apparently Sunderland are in advanced talks to sign Niall Huggins.
I've just read that. That's like fresh off the press today, isn't it? Is it the journalist Peter O'Rourke seems to have broke that? It looks to be a freelance journalist on Twitter with 100,000 plus followers.
I remember saying, "You're not Simon," to him.
Yeah.
He didn't. I don't think he got it.
It'll be a shame if Huggins goes, actually. With Casey, you can understand there's a pecking order for centre-backs at the minute. We talked about this, I think, briefly in a non-youth podcast a few weeks ago, which, Matty, you weren't here for, but it'd be interesting to get your opinion. I think it was a good move for Casey because you've got the likes of Cresswell, even Noah Kenny, and play people who can play that centre-back position already queuing up behind what is now Stroik, who moved up from the 23s originally as a short-term replacement, and now he's solidified himself as a Premier League starter. And you've got Cooper, and you've got Koch, and you've got Llorente. So I can see why, if you're a young centre-back at Leeds at the minute, knowing that Cresswell is probably going to be that next leader, that next step up, you are a lone move away or a permanent move away might be better for your own career development, etc. So I can't fault the Casey one. Huggins, I'd like to see him stay, and I think we will probably get rid of Camwa, and I think we probably will see Gotts move on as well. I saw somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but there was maybe talk of using Gotts as a part exchange deal with cash alongside it for O'Brien at Huddersfield, because obviously we're trying to get him in, and there's different figures been branded around. So it's a shame for the lad, and it's a shame for Huggins, because I think he's got a lot to offer this team, but again, he might see his career elsewhere. Did it say is it a permanent move, Donny, or a loan move that they're talking about?
There is no information about.
I think Huggins is expected. Huggins is expected to go on a permanent this summer. I think with Casey, I think the plan was for Casey to go out on loan. I presume so. Anyway, I know we are stacked for centre backs, like you say, but he kind of was that second choice alongside Cresswell last season. But I'm guessing he just got a decent offer from Blackpool, or maybe Casey got an offer that he wanted. I know it's a 3-year deal, so yeah, obviously a deal that he might have wanted to take up. They've just got promoted. He's going to get more first team chances there and in the Championship as well. So yeah, a good young manager as well. Neil Critchley, quite a highly rated manager at Blackpool. So I think that deal sort of made sense. Bit gutted to see Gottsy if he's one to leave, and Huggins I'm just surprised at, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
He played really well last season. I'd love to know how he's gone from playing at Arsenal, being on the fringe of the first team, to decided he's not being good enough. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, but it happens. Sunderland, I don't think would be a bad move for him.
I hope that one's a loan. I hope it's a loan for Huggins. I hope he's not out the door.
I think it's permanent for Huggins. I think Graham did an article about it last week, or maybe earlier this week, and I'm pretty sure it mentioned Huggins going on a permanent. I'm not sure if it'll be another loan for Gotts or whether that'll be a permanent as well, but a few clubs interested in him apparently, so yeah, we'll see.
Okay, and Ian Pervader.
Well, what's the story on that? Because you look at last season and it kind of wrote itself. At one point, he leapfrogged Costa, didn't he? And he was on the bench a lot, and he was the go-to man to come on, or be around that first team fringe. Then towards the back end of the season, or just after between Christmas and Easter, Costa found a bit of form again, didn't he? And in Pervader we saw Pervader a lot in the 23 setup towards the end of the championship winning season for the 23s. And then this season, he had that bizarre summer where he went off and did a bit of showboating, which some people like, some people don't like. We're not getting into that today, unless you want to, Johnny, but I don't want to get into that today. Some people don't agree with it. Some people think he's a young lad enjoying his money, but he had a weird summer where he kind of divided the fan base. A lot of people naturally agree he's a genuinely pleasant lad and a good lad to be around. But unless he's injured, he didn't feature anywhere near the squad for the Man United game. And obviously he was a really noticeable absence when you've got Forshaw stepping in and players like that, obviously, for the 23s. He was a noticeable first-team fringe player absentee from the game against Palace, which was a bit peculiar for me. I don't know what to think about it until we get some more official stuff from the club.
Matty?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't like to speculate, but it doesn't look great for him. No report of an injury. I think he played the last game he played will have been Ajax, won't it? Unless he featured against Villarreal. Can't remember. I don't remember him playing against Villarreal. But yeah, he played in the under-23 game at Ajax. I thought he did okay in the first half, but then there was no sign of an injury, and then he hasn't played since. So yeah, it doesn't look great. Without being too harsh, would it be that much of a loss? I mean, Somerville, I just think he's absolutely unbelievable. I'm genuinely Somerville's biggest fan. I know he's got a lot of fans, Somerville, but honestly, I absolutely love the guy. I think he's got to be above Costa, never mind above Poveda. So yeah, when you put it like that, you got Miller coming in, McGurk coming in. There's plenty of options there. If Poveda's done something wrong, or if
do you think, Matty, though, that seeing how well Somerville's played this pre-season and started, do you think that might be? So it could be that Poveda's not. I mean, everyone naturally talks about a bad attitude, or maybe he's upset someone, or he's had a fallout. Maybe it's more that actually Somerville, we spoke about him last year, has come in and just wowed everyone with the next level of performance that he's given, and maybe it's just solidified, within Mark Jackson or Bielsa to say, actually, Ian, you might be better off looking for a new club because you're now falling back behind the pecking order even further. So maybe it's not something that he's done wrong or something that there's been an argument or a spat. Maybe it's just simply we have better options and it's time for you, although he's not been with us very long, it is time for him to move on because, Poveda can get bullied off the ball. He does run up and down that wing tirelessly, but there's very little end product. And that was something that we spoke about, me and you, mate, last year, without coming on too harsh for him. But we did sort of pick that as a flaw or a development point in his game. So do you think maybe it's just that Somerville's impressed so much that they've thought we need to move him on? Or do you think there's some substance to the rumours, which are just rumours, that there's been a fallout?
No,
there was a delay then, sorry, mate.
I'm just saying it myself. I think Somerville's better than him. I think a lot of people. Sorry. You are right about Somerville being just better than him, and Somerville probably has wowed people. Obviously, he's moving up the pecking order himself now. Somerville making the bench, but maybe there is some substance in a fallout because it's not really like the club to just give up on a player like that, and it's also not like the club would rush Somerville. It's not really what they do. So yeah, I'd be surprised if it's just a club saying, "Oh, you're not good enough. Go find another club," and not featuring him in any pre-season games, not featuring him even in the 23s. So yeah, I don't really know what to think of it. Obviously, I don't want to speculate, but it doesn't look great, and maybe he'll be on his way out. But like I say, without being too disrespectful to him, I don't think it'd be a great loss because we've got the likes of Somerville, McGurk, Miller, and obviously Harrison and Rafinha are not being replaced anytime soon. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, even McCarron has looked like a wing back from left back and been very attacking. And I think would we say that Greenwood could even play on the wing as well? He's very attacking and has probably got the kind of qualities necessary for that role. So he just seemed like he's slipped down the pecking order a bit. But we can't really speculate too much on those Instagram posts. But yeah, if you look at someone like Somerville, I think there's an argument that he gets ahead of Costa even now. His end product has been fantastic. Okay, let's talk about the Crystal Palace game. And I remember this from last season because there was a card crazy ref. I think he gave 5 cards, and there was one really dodgy sending off. It was Somerville, yeah. Speaking of the devil,
really early.
Yeah. And I remember you saying, Matty, the refs made it all about him. There were even more yellow cards on Monday night, 9 in total.
Was it a feisty one, lads? Yeah, I actually missed the game. I know call myself LUFC Academy Central and then missed the first game of the season. But was it a feisty one? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a strange one. It was a strange game. It was a bit saucy. I think. There was no. I don't know what you thought, Daniel. I thought there was no consistency in the refereeing. It wasn't like. I mean, the red card for the lad. What was he? Boateng. He's handballed it on the line. He's got to go. but some of the decisions around the cards were questionable for me. I just thought there was no consistency in what he was considering a bookable offence and what he wasn't. It wasn't just he was booking anything and been overly strict. He was just not consistent. And that it didn't really disrupt the flow of the game. But again, we don't want to see referees in a youth level where you're supposed to be, testing people's fitness levels and you're supposed to let these lads run and be creative and bring some flair and panache to the game, and you don't want it to see it stop starting every 2 minutes for bookings, do you?
Yeah, there was a lot of handbags at dawn. There were some scuffles. I tweeted at halftime 1-1, quiet start to the campaign for the 23s with 2 goals, a missed penalty, a red card, scuffles, and almost comical volleyed own goal.
Yeah,
it was actually really nice after the debacle on Saturday to just be like completely entertained.
It's so refreshing, isn't it, with the 23s? Yeah. It's so refreshing.
I honestly had forgotten about Saturday. I completely wiped out my mind. My dad said something to me last night. Can't remember. I think we were talking about Paveda actually, and I was mentioning about him not being on the bench, and I couldn't remember who we'd played on Saturday because I have wiped it from my mind.
Probably for the best.
What a horrible, horrible day. What a horrible day.
The balance of this game against Palace, sorry to just go back to the 23s, I was looking at I think the difference of how we set up this time was possibly to accommodate Forshaw, because it looked like we dropped an extra midfielder centrally to support him. So where we had obviously Somerville and Miller running forward with Bate as like a 10, we got Jenkins and Forshaw kind of slotted in. And at times, Forshaw was quite deep, which, not really playing an 8, more like a 4. But I don't see him playing that role in the first 11. So it was a strange one. I think the formation was maybe not. So we didn't dominate possession as much as we usually do, which is one of the things that I took away from it. And like you said, Donny, there was that much stop-start and that much kind of, not incident, but there was a lot going on with the double penalties, the penalty miss, then almost comical on goal. There's things happening that kind of detracted from the football in terms of what formation are we playing, what passing possession are we keeping. I mean, we still dominated statistically, but it was less prominent in the numbers, and it translated more into a scoreline, obviously, of 3-1. But it was an entertaining game. It
was very emotional, I thought. And because of that, we were very, very direct, more direct than we'd normally be. And so I think that's why we didn't have so much possession. And they were counter-attacking very well, and they coped very, very well going down to 10 men. They actually looked maybe even better because they were just absorbing that pressure and then hitting us on the break. So, yeah, but there were good performances all over the pitch. I thought Jenkins and Bates were really impressive. Moore impressed me, and Somerville as well. I thought Joffrey was a little bit like he wasn't at his premium level where he can be, but it wasn't a bad performance from him. He was still trying to make things happen.
The penalty was awful, though, wasn't it? I'd be giving him an earful over that. No conviction, lazy, soft penalty. Like he needs to be doing some penalty drills this week.
He's done it twice now. Trying to do that little Jorginho skip thing. Missed.
It's not for me.
Greenwood also missed one as well. Let's hope one of the new boys can take a pen. I think Somerville scored 1 or maybe 2 last season. I think also one of his goals in pre-season was a pen. Max Dean as well scored a couple of pens recently.
Where you run on the spot a little bit, and then you fucking smash it.
Yeah,
just do that.
Why he didn't put his laces through it? That keeper looked shaky anyway, and I was thinking that like, if just put your boot through it, like as soon as he hit it, the run up, he looked lethargic. I'm not saying he doesn't care, but I agree with you. I think he's lacking a bit of match sharpness. He looked just a couple of percent off his normal intensity levels. He was trying to make things happen. You're right, Donny. So I don't want to be too harsh, but he looked like it looked like it was an effort, that game, for him. He wasn't enjoying it like he normally does, with a big smile on his face.
It annoys me, the penalty thing. The penalty thing actually deeply annoys me. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but look at the Euros final that we lost. So Rashford did a stupid run up. Sancho tried to place it. Saka tried to place it. the Italian boys that scored and even the English boys that scored. Look at Maguire's penalty. Kane puts his foot through every penalty.
Your foot through
you talk about like really good penalty takers in the past, like Frank Lampard used to smash it. Like if you put your foot through it, even if the keeper goes the right way, it's got a chance. If you don't put your foot through it, it makes it so much. Yeah, you might send the keeper the wrong way, and that's obviously what you're trying to do. But if you just put your foot through it, you have such a good chance. But then also, I can't really speak because I missed a penalty in training on Monday night. So
I was watching an interview. I can't remember. I think it might have been with Shearer, and he was saying, I can't remember where it was, but he was saying that they used to do this training regime where they would tell the goalkeeper which side they were going to put it on, and then they'd have to try and score, and that routine made them have so much self-belief because they knew even if he knows exactly where I'm going to put it, if I hit it like I can, he's got no chance. So I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, it's true. I think it will probably come back round. I think, like not like the old days, but like trends come around and come back around in football, like with the 4-4-2 stuff like that. That's coming back round. But I think with penalties, you'll just start seeing people smash the ball again now. I mean, look at Maguire's penalty. It's like the best penalty you could ever see. He just absolutely twatted it.
I think statistically...
Just twat it, lads. That's my only piece of advice.
Yeah.
Football's literally simple, innit? It's simple, innit?
Football, we don't need to overcomplicate something which is literally a dead ball on a spot. Game. Hit it.
What a tagline that is.
But then you've got the other argument of how class does it look when you just absolutely mug the keeper off. Like when Jorginho pulls it off, it looks absolutely class.
Yeah, but
so
if you're a fan, does it? Like, I don't know. I'm a bit old fashioned. I agree. Just twat it, lads. Is the phrase. Just hit it. Hit it. Get it in the net. Score the goal. Let's move on. It's different if it's a penalty shootout in a competition. But if it's we're going to get more than one penalty this year, hopefully, if the players are running around the box. So on a more serious note, we've got to do something about that. You can't be tapping penalties like that. It was soft, man. You've got to put your foot through it.
On the flip side, Klaassen saved quite a decent penalty. It was a very good save. I thought he did well.
One might say he was class, son.
Hey, yeah, that was the tweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, one might say he's a class, son.
Yeah. Am I right?
I'll be logging off now. See you later, lads.
Welcome to Middle-Aged Dad Podcasting.
What was he like in open play? What was he like in open play, Klaassen?
Yeah. I thought he was good. He was good. He was good. Like he looks solid. He looks like a bit of a unit. That's what I noticed most about him, especially when I think
does look
about
quite big, yeah.
Yeah. When I think about who was it? Who's the other goalkeeper we've got at the under-23s?
I think anybody looks like a unit compared to we used to like Melier, who's like stick thin, and we used to Capriel, who's not the tallest for a goalkeeper. I think anybody's gonna look like a unit compared to the other keepers at the club.
Yeah. Capriel and Danny
no
van der
disrespect
Heuvel.
to Melier, of course.
Yeah, it was Van der Heuvel on the bench, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Klaassen looks all right. I mean, we're gonna need to see more of him, aren't we? He's gonna need to be tested, and he will at that level. Shot stopping, command of the area, better quality set piece takers. He's going to come up against, especially when we play the bigger lads. By bigger, I mean the top 6 perceived academies. He'll come up against some quality players there, which will probably test his goalkeeping abilities out a bit more. But he looks a decent purchase, actually. Like another good youth acquisition.
He was vocal.
I think
he
we'll see
confident.
A pretty even split.
He looked solid. His distribution
was even split between. Sorry, Donny.
His distribution was good as well. I remember when Kiko came in. I watched the first under-23s that he played. He looked nervous. He looked like he hadn't got onto the pitch in years. He almost ran out like a headless chicken a couple of times. And I just thought, he probably just hasn't played in a long time. But it turned out that was just who Kiko was. So I think this guy, Klaassen, he does look solid. He looks good. I could see him making the step up at some point. Sorry, Matty.
No, sorry, mate. I was just going to say I think we'll see a pretty even split between Van der Heuvel and Klaassen this year. Kind of like we did. Kiko played a little bit towards the end of last season, but Klaassen obviously a lot younger, and in the plans they want him to develop. I'm not saying Kiko wasn't in the plans, but obviously it was linked to him leaving for a long time. But yeah, Klaassen, I think they'll want to develop. Van der Heuvel is quite highly rated. Got a little bit to go. I think it's a little bit of confidence with Van der Heuvel. Yeah, he obviously got a bit to improve, and then Klaassen has come from first team football as well, so he's going to want to be pushing Meslier. He's already been playing first team football, so yeah, I think we'll see a good battle between those two this season. I think Capriel had it almost all to himself, didn't he, last season? Kiko played when he kind of needed to, but yeah, I think we'll see a bit more of a battle between the keepers this year, which should be good for them both.
Okay, and just enough time left to ask you some predictions then for this season. Where do you think Leeds United under-23s will finish in the Premier League 2 Division 1?
I'll go first if you want. Mid-table, I think. I think we'll be finished mid-table.
Manny, 6th?
Yeah, 6th. Yeah.
Okay. And who are we playing next?
Embarrassingly, I actually don't know.
Tottenham at home.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, next Monday, 23rd, isn't it? Yeah, 23rd at 4 o'clock.
Spurs, any good? Under-23s, do we know much about them?
Did they win their first game?
I feel like we're on satellite phone to you guys.
Yeah, but it's delayed. They drew the first game. They drew their first game, didn't they?
They drew 2-2 with drew 2-2 with Chelsea.
Okay.
It'll be a tough game. I think any game at this level is going to be a tough game, isn't it? I think arguably we'll probably look to be picking up points against your Palaces, derbies. But I think when we're playing West Ham's, Chelsea's, Liverpool, Man City's, there's no. I know that it's a cliche, but there's no easy game. I think home or away is the only thing I don't know that if Matty, you might be able to clear up for us because the next game against Spurs, have they defined which games are going to be played at Thorpe Arch, Guiseley, or Ellen Road yet, or York? There's four stadiums you can use.
Yeah, they have. They have, but I can't remember where. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where Tottenham is. Tottenham, drew the first game with Chelsea 2-2. I literally watched that game this morning for an article I was writing. Dylan Markande and Janelle Bennett scored Tottenham's goals. They're like the 9 and the 10 that play together. They play 4-2-3-1. So yeah, Leeds will obviously match them up with the formation. But yeah, the 9 and the 10 were their best two players really. They've got Alfie Devine, who played in the FA Cup last year, might be like a name that people remember. Ryan Sessegnon played as well. I think he's coming back from an injury. He played for the 23, so he might play again. He's still only 21 is Sessegnon, but obviously he's played first team football a lot. Yeah, so they're a good team. There will be a tough test. Yeah, drew with a very, very good Chelsea under-23 team. Chelsea finished second last year. Man City won the league. Chelsea finished second. And yeah, Tottenham have just drawn 2-2 with them on the opening day. Came back from 2-0 down. So yeah, it will be a tough game. But like Rob says, they'll all be tough games. Crystal Palace was a tough game. I think Palace will do all right as well, actually. Just touching on them. I do like Palace, I'll be honest. A bit of a soft spot for them. But yeah, they'll do all right as well, I think. But yeah, we'll be fine. I think mid-table.
Looking at some of Spurs' results from last season, they lost 6-1 to City, and then 4-1 to City the game before. They beat Liverpool 4-1, and they lost before that. They lost to Chelsea 4-1. So very mixed bag for them. It seems they either thrash people or get thrashed.
Let's hope they get thrashed next week then.
Yeah. Right, we'll be there. Are we doing this at the same time every week?
I mean, but it depends on work for me. But sometimes we might have to move it around, and and whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, for me, most part, this should be good times. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'll have to let you know if that's okay with work because my shifts change.
Okay, no worries. Well, just wait for the announcement. Or the best thing you can do is subscribe and follow all of us, especially Rob, who has been putting out all the announcement tweets because I haven't been able to. But don't forget Matty as well at LUFC Academy News on Twitter and LUFCAcademyCentral.com. for all of your blogging needs on the Leeds United Academy. So thank you very much for joining us for the first episode of Season 2. My name was Adonis. You can find me at the Adelites, and it's a very goodbye from me. And joining us was Juicy Rob.
Goodbye,
Juicy
thanks
Rob,
for joining.
And Matty at Matty Ingham 17. Is that right?
Correct. Matty_Ingham 17. Thanks for having me on again, lads. See you soon.
Thank you. Come on, Leeds. Get on them.